And mainly why we offend others is because of false ego. Because of false ego, there is some sense of superiority over others. Because of false ego, we have a feeling that I know, I can, I am better. So because of these feelings, what happens? There is a tendency to look down upon others. There is a tendency to find fault in others, and because of which all these difficulties they come. So if somebody can protect himself from this, where he does not offend anyone, and if he takes shelter of the holy names of the Lord, then no matter how fallen he is, he can protect himself. He can actually purify himself. He can even go back to Godhead. That is the great power of bhakti. That is the great potency of bhakti. And that is great hope for us. Many times, many of us may feel, Prabhu, somehow my conditioning is not as good as others, and because of which I am not able to practice spiritual life as nicely as others. But actually, that is not a barrier. In fact, that situation may become more favorable for you to take more better shelter of Krishna. So, in one way, what we think is creating an obstacle on the path of bhakti, actually, that itself is a great opportunity to take more shelter of Krishna. On the other hand, those who have some material opulence, those who have some material well-being, that may become an obstacle for them to take shelter of Krishna. So, bhakti in one way is very simple and easy. We don't have to do much in bhakti. We have to take shelter of Krishna. And we have to please Krishna. So we please Krishna by serving, we please Krishna by acting the way he is happy. We try to see everything in connection to the Lord. We try to offer everything to the Lord. So this is the heart of the bhakti, to take shelter of Krishna, to please Krishna. And this anyone can do, and everyone can do. And so that's how we see how bhakti is so accommodating, and how bhakti can purify anyone if he comes to Krishna and takes shelter of Krishna. So recently, one His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was telling in this lecture at Wada that one devotee came to him and he was sharing, Maharaj, I am facing so many struggles in my spiritual life. So Maharaj told him, you try your best to take shelter of Krishna. So then he counter questioned Maharaj and he asked Maharaj, Maharaj, how will I know that I am trying my best? So then Maharaj told him, try sincerely. So Maharaj was telling, very nice question he asked me, how will I know that I am trying my best? And I started thinking about it. And then I thought, and then I answered him, that try sincerely. And Krishna sees sincerity in the heart of a sadhaka. See, sometime it may happen somebody came late in the night and then he got up late to wake up for Mangal Aarti. But then Krishna sees his heart. He's feeling, oh Krishna, somehow I became late. But then he gets up ready and then he goes and then he pays obeisance to the Lord. So although he's late, but because he's sincere, Krishna is very happy with him. The purpose of life is not to come on time for Mangal Aarti. Purpose of life is to please Krishna. And Krishna becomes very happy and pleased by the sincerity of a devotee. And you have to cultivate the sincerity that I want to please Krishna. Okay, I'm sick. Whatever way you can offer your devotion to Krishna, offer it. Krishna is not saying that just because you are sick and you are not dancing in Guru Puja, then I will not give you mercy. No. At your level, the way you can, you offer your devotion to Krishna, and Krishna is very happy with that. Just imagine how simple and amazing the process of bhakti is. In yoga, you can't say, oh, my health is not good, so I can't perform yoga. Arey, your health is good or not, you have to stand on one leg. You can't say on Karma Kanda, oh, I have smoke allergy, so I can't sit in Yajna. You have to sit. You can't say that. But in Bhakti, it is not like that. Bhakti is a very internal process, and Krishna sees sincerity in the heart of a devotee. Krishna wants to see this. And then Maharaj very beautifully answered. Maharaj told, movement to movement, Krishna is seeing this sincerity. So every moment, how we are choosing Krishna, every moment, how we are thinking to offer our devotion to Krishna, every moment in what situation Krishna has kept us, how we are trying to please Krishna, that is devotion, and that Krishna is seeing. We hear in Srimad Bhagavatam how when Bhishma Mahajan, he is lying on the arrow of deathbed. So that time, all the great souls, they come because they were so eager to hear the wisdom which Bhishma had. So now Bhishma, being in that situation, was not able to get up and welcome the guest. But then Bhagavatam says, with a smile, sweet smile with hearty expression, Prabhupada writes in the purport. He smiled by looking at all of them, and in that way he could welcome. So same way, it is not that we have to do in this particular way only, then only Krishna is happy. No. Krishna wants to see our sincerity. Like someday our exam is there, we may not, attend the morning class. So we can study, but then after the exam, we can hear 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and we can try to remember what we have heard. So Krishna is seeing that sincerity, that how he is trying to be Krishna conscious, how he is trying to remember me at all times. So at all times means keeping our responsibilities, keeping our health situation, keeping our other responsibilities. We are trying to remember Krishna. Even during those responsibilities, we are trying to remember Krishna. Suppose in exam some question comes which you are not able to understand only. Then remember Krishna, chant one time Hare Krishna mantra silently, then try to think about it. So like that, we try to remember Krishna in every walk of our life. And that sincerity, Krishna sees that how he is trying to remember me, how he is trying his best to come closer to me. And that sincerity, when Krishna sees, then he accordingly reciprocates. Krishna is very merciful. Ye yathamam prapadyante. The way we approach Krishna, that way Krishna reciprocates. Sometimes our bhakti may become very mechanical, that, oh, we have to attend Mangalarti, we have to do this, we have to do this. Because kind of we are bound in the rules and regulation that if we don't do this, then we can't stay in center. We can't be called as a devotee. But even those rules and regulations are for the purpose of remembering Krishna and pleasing Krishna. We may forget that aspect. Just following rules and regulation to one extent will please Krishna because we are following our superiors. But the essence and the purpose is to actually remember Krishna, to offer our devotion to the Lord. So in that way we see bhakti is very simple. Same way about chanting the holy names of the Lord. It's not that we have to chant all 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra very attentively. We should, but at our situation, at our level, we may not. So what Krishna is expecting, that we are sincerely trying to chant attentively. And in that attempt to chant attentively, we may end up chanting few mantras attentively. Krishna is very happy with it. So this aspect of bhakti makes bhakti very accessible to all. And what is the potency of bhakti? When Krishna is very happy, then Krishna can purify in moments. Krishna can elevate anyone. So we have to know that how bhakti is very simple, bhakti is very easy, and Krishna is wanting to give mercy. Very beautiful line His Holiness Anartha Maharaj was telling in this lecture, that Krishna so much loves every living entity. No matter what living entity does, he never leaves the heart as a Paramatma. Maharaj is telling, you'll never find that a dog, yeah, hog was too dirty and Paramatma left. No, we never hear that some living entity was so criminal or so sinful that Paramatma left. No, Paramatma never leaves because Krishna always loves in all conditions like that. So Maharaj was telling that Lord who loves every living entity in such an unconditional way, and then uh, when a devotee is trying to come closer to him, why will he not reciprocate? Why will he not give mercy? So in one way, if there is something lacking, that is in our part. Because Krishna is wanting. Krishna wants us to be actually happy, experience spiritual bliss. But he is waiting for us to come to him. And then he will give that bliss to us. He wants to teach us that how only way our heart can be satisfied is by unconditional, uninterrupted devotion service for the pleasure of the Lord. Like that. So we see in that way, bhakti is very special. Now we have to perform bhakti and we should not find fault or we should not find a devotee. Then we can very easily make progress. But problem is that somehow or other we have a tendency to offend. And one of the main reason is this, that is false ego. We see even in case of devotees, we see even in case of sadhakas or mixed devotees, and they do get affected by this false ego. And because of this false ego, we end up offending others, we end up finding fault in others. And then that disturbs our bhakti, that chokes our bhakti. So why this false ego comes? This false ego comes because of various reasons. There is one verse in 11th canto, very beautiful verse. Which talks about how this false ego comes, or because of what all things one may be proud. This is 11.5.9. क्रिया विभूतायाभिजनेन विद्यया त्यागेन रूपेण बलेन कर्मण जात समय न आंध धिय सहेश्वरान ततो वमन्यन्ति हरि प्रियान खला. Yeah, somebody can read translation.
The intelligence, the intelligence of cruel-minded person is blinded by false pride based on great wealth, opulence, prestigious family connections, education, renunciation, personal beauty, physical strength, and successful performance of Vedic rituals. Being intoxicated with this false pride, such cruel persons blaspheme the supreme personality of Godhead and his devotees.
Yeah, so you see, these are the reasons by which one may become proud. Kunti Maharani also said, Jan Ashwa Sutubhi Edamadhapima. So here, more things are mentioned that one may become falsely proud. Why? Because of wealth. And it happens the moment you get wealth, there's a kind of pride in the heart that I have money. And opulence, you may have some opulence because of which the pride comes, or you may have a prestigious family connection. My grandfather was a prime minister of the country, or I come from this dynasty or that dynasty. Many times you'll hear the people, as soon as they have a surname Yadav, they identify with Yadus. We come the Krishna's family. And then education, B.Tech, M.Tech, PhD, whatever education background we have, there is a sense of pride. Suppose अगर आप ट्रेन में जा रहे हो और you enter a different bogie and then somebody tells you, hey, पढ़े लिखे नहीं हो क्या, B3 में घुस गए, ये B4 का टिकट है. तो तुरंत आपके मन में क्या फीलिंग आएगा, अबे जानता नहीं है बीटेक. our false ego will speak like that. Then renunciation, vairagya. And there is a ego because of vairagya also, that see, I renounced so much. All these people, they are caught up in so many material attachments, but I could run. Then personal beauty. One may have a pride of beauty, that I am so beautiful. See, these are things which, as devotees, we may not speak now, but our subtle mind speaks, and we have a subtle feelings like that. When you look in your mirror, then subtly you will appreciate that, kya banaya hai mere ko. Then physical strength, you know, that also has a sense of pride, right? And then one may be proud because of ritualistic performance of Vedic things, that I am able to get up early in the morning. I am able to do this yajna very nicely. I am able to do that yajna very nicely. And because of this pride, what happens? One cannot take shelter of Krishna and his devotee. Kunti Maharani also said, Jan asha susubhi edamadha praman. So because of these four things, one cannot helplessly call out the holy names of the Lord. Akinchana gocharam, he says, Krishna is the property of those who are materially impoverished. They can helplessly call out the holy names of the Lord. So this does not mean that one cannot have, if Krishna has given these opulences. But point is, if one identifies with them, then there will be pride. And that pride will not allow them to take shelter of Krishna and his devotees. They will maintain that separate identity because of this false pride. So, and because of this, what happens is, we end up thinking that I am better than others. We end up thinking that I have more than others. We end up finding fault in others, and then difficulty comes. So in the scriptures, if you see, there are many examples of mixed devotees or sadhakas, or sometimes even great souls, who get affected by some of these things or one of these things, and then they get pride. And because of that pride, then difficulties come in their spiritual life. From Srimad Bhagavatam, any of you would like to share any example of mixed devotee or a sadhaka or a great soul who got affected by pride because of one of these things, and then some difficulties came in his spiritual life?
Daksh Prajapati Prabhuji.
Yeah. So he was proud of what?
His kingdom Prabhuji, like he was on a high post.
He was proud of post. So he was given a special post by Brahma to fill the universe. And at that time, that post was most important because it was needed. So he was very proud of that post, that I am doing such a special service. And because of that pride, see, the moment you become proud, you cannot see greatness of others. So although Lord Shiva was such a great devotee, but then he could not see. He was seeing Lord Shiva with material vision. And that is the nature of the pride. Humility creates spiritual vision, pride creates material vision. So the moment Daksha became proud, he got this material vision. And although a spiritual personality like Lord Shiva, he saw with a material vision that, see, he does not take bath, see, he does not wear proper clothes, see whom he associates with, all the ghost and other things, other people that surround him. So because of which he happened to offend Lord Shiva. Can you imagine offending Lord Shiva? But that's what happens because of pride. Yes, any other examples? And see, who is Daksha? Daksha is not a person who does not know the Vedas. You see, in whose assembly is sitting Brahma, Indra, Vayu, all the demigods. They are not the people who are watching Hollywood or Bollywood. They are the people who are reading Vedas, who know Yajna, who know all the Vedic performances. But then still, yes, any other example?
King Rahugana.
Yeah, King Rahugana, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, he became proud of His
Again,
post
we are proud
also.
of post.
Yeah. So it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that King Rahuguna, he was not a materialistic person, he was also religious. In fact, in that procession on the Palaki, he was going to some temple only. But then because of this pride which he had, because of post thinking that, Are, I am a king and everyone else is supposed to serve me. So when he saw that how the palki was again and again was having jerk because of Jad Bharat, who was trying his best not to step over ants. So then King Rahuna became very angry and stepped down and started chastising Jad Bharat. And then Jad Bharat opened his eyes. King Rahuna told him, Are, I am king, you are servant, and you are supposed to serve me and please me. And you are causing trouble to me. Don't you fear the punishment from me? And then Jad Bharat replies to him that, My dear king, today you are master, I am servant, and tomorrow you may be servant and I may be master. These things are temporary. So this was like King Rahuguna never thought about this. So this is because of post. He also could not see the greatness of Jad Bharat. Actually, because of pride, we cannot see the devotion in the heart of other devotees. We cannot see their greatness of being closer to Krishna. So can you imagine a Mahabhagavat was there around King Rahuguna, but then because of his pride, he could not see his devotion. And he was having a material vision and looking at Jad Bharat. But then later on, after hearing from Jad Bharat, King Rahuguna understood that, oh, he is a Mahabhagavat. And King Rahuguna became humble. And then he could see the greatness of Jad Bharat. He could hear from Jad Bharat. Yes. Any other example?
Prabhuji, Gajendra.
Durvasam.
Okay, Gajendra, you are meaning the previous life or the current life as an elephant?
Prabhuji, in current life also, like he is proud of his physical strength. So, and in previous life also, he made mistake as Indradu Maharaj.
Yeah. So in previous life, what mistake he did? He had a tendency to not respect. So when Agastya Rishi saw, although Indradu Maharaj at that point of time was having closed eyes and meditating, but Agastya Rishi could understand he has this tendency to not pay respect. And because of that tendency, he cursed him that you are behaving like a dull animal. Why? Because when spiritual personalities are there, when spiritual paraphernalia is there, we can't be neglectful. And he could see that you don't have that intelligence, you are so neglectful when great souls are coming. So because of that tendency, uh, 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 seeing this tendency, he was cursed. Now, why this tendency came, that could be because of pride. But that is not, we don't know so many details about this pastime. Only the small details are mentioned. Yes, any other example?
Person, he did not get up from Asan, thinking that I am representing Vyasdev and I am greater than Balram, so Balram killed him.
Yeah, so his name was, so he was proud of,
his greatness that I am representing Vyasdev, and so did not respect Balram.
yeah, actually he was proud of his learning. And even can you imagine Balram came? So this is one very important thing, that pride makes our vision material. Humility makes our vision spiritual. Now can you imagine Lord Balram came? Means what more one will want? Personally, Lord Balram has come. And who is Roma Suta? It is not that they were watching movies or they were seeing IPL cricket or they were doing party. No. He is speaking in Puranas and the scriptures and the Vedas. And still he could not value Lord Balram, he could not appreciate Lord Balram. और कैन यू इमेजिन, थोड़ा तो बुद्धि होना चाहिए ना कि बलराम जी आए हैं, ठीक है आपको उस टाइम पे समझ में नहीं आया, सब लोग खड़े हो गए तब तो खड़ा होना चाहिए ना, इतना तो बुद्धि होना चाहिए। रोमहर्षि सूत के जो सीनियर्स थे वो भी खड़े हो गए। जस्ट इमेजिन, सपोज यू आर गिविंग भागवतम क्लास and some senior personality comes and everyone in the audience gets up. At least that time so something should click, bhaiya, I should get up, is it not? But somehow he got that sense of so much pride that Lord Balram came and he could not value and see Lord Balram like that. And because of that we see that we offended. And you will find whenever Krishna, whenever the Lord, they encounter a case like this, where a devotee or a mixed devotee or a demon is too much infatuated with pride, Lord acts very strongly. You see in case of Romaharsa Sutta, how Lord Balram corrected him. He killed him. Because this quality of pride actually does not allow us to see spiritually and bounds us materially. And Krishna becomes most unhappy with this quality of pride. And in one way it is true, because we don't have anything to be proud for. But because of our material vision, because of artificial sense of pride, we think like that I am very special. Krishna becomes very unhappy, especially with a devotee having this sense of pride. So Romaharsa Sutta in one way was blessed, was speaking on the spiritual subject matter, but then can you imagine, he is the only case who was killed by the Lord on the Vyasasana. So because of his pride. Yes, any other example? Very beautiful example, Romaharsa Sutta.
Prabhuji, Shringi proud of his birth.
Yeah, Shringi was proud of his birth, because of which he could not see the Parishit Maharaj as a devotee of the Lord. See, it is mentioned in Bhagavatam that when Parishit Maharaj would go from one kingdom to another kingdom, that time anyone who would see Parishit Maharaj, they would remember the Pandavas and they would glorify the Pandavas. Hearing that, Parishit Maharaj would become very happy. So they could see Parishit Maharaj in connection with Pandavas. Another glory of Parishit Maharaj was, whenever people would see him, they knew that at time of birth, in the womb, Krishna protected him. So because of that glory of Parishit Maharaj, they had lot of respect for Parishit Maharaj, knowing that he is a pure devotee of the Lord. जस्ट इमेजिन, अगर हमारी कम्युनिटी में कोई डिवोटी है जिसके गर्भ में कृष्ण भगवान ने जाकर उसको रक्षा की और फिर वो उसका जन्म होता है, तो कितना उसके प्रति रिस्पेक्ट रहेगा हमारा, करेक्ट ना? बट श्रृंगी, बिकॉज ही बिकेम सो मच प्राउड दैट आई एम अ ब्राह्मण, he could not see the devotional side of Parishit Maharaj. And in one way, suppose if he justifies that, so what? Just because he's a pure devotee, he can do anything. Why did he put a dead snake on my father's neck? Even if he considers that mistake, still Parishit Maharaj did not deserve such a heavy punishment of being cursed to die in 7 days. But why the punishment was so much by Shringi? Because of his pride. He became so proud, he could not see that who is Parishit Maharaj. He could not see the devotional side of Parishit Maharaj. Because of his pride, the vision became material. And we see that later on his father cries that, alas, what you have done. Parishit Maharaj is the king of the whole world, and because of him, so much religion, so much spirituality is being spread. And he is a pure devotee of the Lord who got to see the Lord in the womb itself. And why? Because of your childish behavior, you cursed him. Like that. Yes, any other example?
Prabhuji, Brahmanas, they were very proud of their ritualistic performing ritualistic ceremony where whereas Brahmana's wife were very devoted to Lord Krishna.
Yeah, so Yogic Brahmanas, they were very proud of their yagyas or ritualistic practices. And because of that, in their case also, you see, Krishna and Balram, they are sending the Gopas, but then they could not see. And we see that because of that, although they were doing the yagyas and everything, but they got stuck. So we see that because of that situation, they could not actually value the great opportunity they had to serve Krishna. Yes, any other example?
Indra, who's Indra?
Yeah, Indra also became proud of post and opulence.
Um,
And can you imagine?
Brahma is
Haribol? So Indra became so proud. Somehow, Prabhu, I'm not able to hear your voice. Can you repeat?
Brahma
Okay, okay.
E.A.S.Y.
He's talking about Brahmaji, na?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. So I was telling about Indra that how can you imagine getting so offended or affected that he wanted to kill all the Vrajvasis. See, this is what happens with pride. In one way, Vrajvasis, they just this year did not paid their puja or worship to Indra, which in one way, if they don't do, it was duty of Indra to give rains anyways. But then Indra became so affected and he became so used to the regular worship which would come from the Vrajvasi that he just wanted to wipe out and kill each Vrajvasi. He wanted to destroy whole Vrindavan. Right? We see that how they are connected. The moment you get pride, you can't see spiritually. The moment you get pride, you don't understand that you are offending and hurting others. The moment you become proud, you don't understand the spiritual side. Your spiritual vision gets obstructed because of this pride. The moment you become proud, then Krishna mercy goes. So we see that this is one great hurdle because of which we are not able to progress. Our conditioning, our anarthas, our background, or our not having previous devotion is not an obstacle in the process of bhakti, as we discussed in the beginning. Bhakti is so simple, so easy, and so potent and so powerful. If we just remain humble and sincere, Krishna does it. So like that, there are so many examples, one after one, which we see in the scriptures, that how they become proud and because of which they are offending and then they get difficulties. Another example is Durvasha. So he was proud of his renunciation. And because of which, although in devotion, Amrish Maharaj was greater than Durvasha. But Durvasa thought, I am a renounce order, Amrit Maharaj is a grasta. So then he thought I am better than him. And because of which he considered Amrit Maharaj low. And then we see that how he offended. In fact, he wanted to just kill Amrit Maharaj. And what was the mistake on the part of Amrit Maharaj? It was in one way no mistake. But that's the nature of the pride. One feels himself so superior, one feels himself so great and better than others, like this. So in one way we see bhakti is very simple and very powerful. Provided only two things. If we are sincere and humble. If we are sincere, that means we are nicely embracing the process of bhakti, we are nicely practicing bhakti. And we are humble, then we will not offend devotees. If we have these two qualities, that we are sincere, we are genuine sincere devotee. We are not practicing to show to others. We are not practicing to get something else from bhakti. We genuinely want to please Krishna. We genuinely want to cultivate loving devotion for the Lord. We genuinely want to give this life in an unmotivated, uninterrupted way. So as devotees, if we have expectations, anything else than this, then we are not very sincere on the process of bhakti. You see, Dhruv Maharaj, when Lord came, and Lord is asking, Dhruv Maharaj says, my dear Lord, what you are saying that you want to give me something to me in return to my devotion. Dhruv Maharaj says, Lord, I am not a businessman. I was not practicing bhakti that because of bhakti you will give me something. I was practicing bhakti just to please you, just to make you happy, and I'll keep doing this life after life, life after life, life after life. That is sincerity. And when somebody has that sincerity, Krishna reciprocates. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the example comes of Kolabeta Sridhar, and who knew Kolabeta Sridhar? No one. In Mahaprakash Leela, when Mahaprabhu says call Kolabeta Sridhar, all the devotees were looking at each other, that who is Kolabeta Sridhar? So in one way, can you imagine? He was not known to anyone. Sometimes as devotees, you may have a feeling, oh, everyone should know me. What is this? No one knows me. But not required. Most important is Krishna should know us. And Kolabita Sridhar, you see, no one knew him. He did not do any big program. He did not give powerful classes. He was not on YouTube. He didn't had, big Kirtan Mela programs. Nothing. And he was not very rich also, very poor. But Krishna saw his sincerity that he is calling my holy name sincerely. He wanted to serve Krishna sincerely. And he was very humble. He would not offend any devotee. And because of these two qualities, he achieved the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On the other hand, we see so many great people who are Brahmanas in Navadip. And they could not appreciate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They could not receive mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, they were offending Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that Are kya hai? He chanting loudly, it will wake the Lord Vishnu who is sleeping on the cordial ocean. Although they are Brahmanas. So we see that these are two aspects. If we are sincere and humble, then actually we can receive mercy of the Lord. And we have to become genuinely sincere and we have to become genuinely humble. If we are genuinely sincere, no matter where are you, no matter what situation comes, in that situation and at that place, you will see an opportunity to advance. If we are genuinely sincere, Krishna will show you the way that Prabhu, this way you can advance. So, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was telling in one lecture that if you see Srimad Bhagavatam, all the examples in Srimad Bhagavatam are of devotees who underwent difficulties, and only that part is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you see Pandavas, they had good time also. When Yudhishthira Maharaj became a king, then he ruled for good number of years. But then Srimad Bhagavatam does not talk about that. Bhagavatam talks about only the difficulties they went through. Same way Prahlad Maharaj later on became a king and he had a good time. But Bhagavatam does not talk about it. Bhagavatam talks about only the main aspect of Prahlad Maharaj's life where he was tormented, tortured and was threatened to be killed. Same way Ambrish Maharaj, he ruled as a king and he had a good time for long. But that is not mentioned in Bhagavatam. Only the part where Ambrish Maharaj was about to be killed by a fire demon which was produced by Durvasa Rishi. So Maharaj says, you see how Bhagavatam talks about only those part from the life of these great devotees where they underwent difficulty. And then the way they took shelter of Krishna in those difficulties to bring out their sincerity, to bring out their devotion, to bring out their desire, exclusive desire to take shelter of Krishna with no other expectation. So when we are sincere, then we find that no difficulty becomes the difficulty. In case of Vidura, we see that how he was told. Can you imagine if you serve in a company or you work very hard for a family, and then when you are old, then you are rejected by the company and the family to go out without anything in hand. How dejected and rejected you will feel. But you see, in case of Vidura, he worked so hard, and in the end, he was told to go out without anything. But he didn't become unhappy. He didn't become disappointed, disturbed. He saw that as an opportunity to now associate with the sadhus and perfect his life. So actually, in our case, if something is lacking, that is a genuine sincerity and a humble heart. If these two things are there, then we'll find that how Krishna is ready to embrace us, Krishna is ready to give mercy to us, like that. And for cultivating this sincerity, we should read and study acharyas and great devotees' life. If you see, Bhagavatam also talks about so many devotees' life to help us to cultivate this sincerity where we just want to aspire for sincere devotional service. So we should read and study the life of these acharyas, the great devotees, that how they don't have any other aspiration than to give pleasure to Krishna, how they just want to make Krishna happy. Like that. We have lived so many lives with this selfish interest to make ourselves happy, not knowing that our happiness lies in giving happiness to Krishna. So we have to cultivate that genuine sincerity that Krishna, I want you, I want to serve you, I want to please you. And this helps a lot when we study the life of great souls and then associate with and we should associate with very good, sincere devotees who are actually genuinely cultivating the sincerity. So their association will help us to further strengthen our desire to become more sincere. Their association will create more inspiration in our heart to become more sincere, like that. And third is, we should whatever sincerity we have, that we should exercise, that we should practice, like this. In this way, it will help. And then we have to cultivate humility. For this also, Mr. Anand was telling very nice verse in one lecture. What is the meaning of this? Kale doshne de Rajan? Only this line.
Kali Yuga is with so many faults.
So Maharaj in one lecture was quoting this and then he was telling, so we should find out faults in ourselves. Maharaj is telling, generally what happens when we read this word, Kale doshne de Rajan, we feel, Prabhuji, मेरे को दूसरों में fault दिख रहे हैं तो सही है ना? कलियुगा में fault हैं ही इतने सारे, मैं क्या करूं? So Maharaj says, Kale doshne de Rajan, Kaliuga is the age which is ocean of fault. And where are those faults? In myself. So we should find out fault in ourselves, because that will help us to be humble. As we see in the example of Goswamis. So in one way, Goswamis, they were very rich, very powerful, had big posts, they renounced everything, Taktva Tunam Asis Mandalapati, went to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, and then became great Goswamis. They were just chanting, reading, hearing all day and out. Then still, we see when Sanatana Goswami came to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't go through the front gate, through the front road. thinking that the air which is coming, touching my body, will touch the body of the Pandas, the Pujaris of Jagannath, and they'll become contaminated because I am so fallen. And why I am so fallen? Because I served under Malechal. Now he has become Mahabhagavat, but still he is thinking about his previous life that I served under Malechal. So like that, it helps us to be humble when we ponder more on our fault, when we see our own fault, that how actually I have so many shortcomings, I have so many faults. And second is, we have to know all opulences or skills or resources which is coming from Krishna and is for serving Krishna. So we may have a beautiful body, we may have some wealth, we may have some resources, we may have some skill set. We should not identify with that. If we start identifying, that will increase our pride. We should see that in connection to Krishna. We should not see all these things in connection to me. If we see in connection to me, it will become pride. If we see that in connection to Krishna, it will increase our service attitude. So if you have a good ability to sing, see that Krishna has blessed me with this, so that I can sing for his pleasure. So we have to see these things in connection to Krishna. And we should know that they are temporary. Krishna has given me today and he may take tomorrow. We should not become proud because of identifying with them. This is main cause of pride, as we saw in the verse in the 11th canto, that we identify with them and then we become proud, not knowing that they are Krishna's property, they have come from Krishna, and not knowing that they are temporary. Today I may have certain things and tomorrow I may not be, like that. We have to genuinely actually think about whatever we have in connection to Krishna. And it is a fact that whatever we get is the mercy of the Lord. And third is, we meditate on the temporary aspect of these things. Today you may have wealth, but up to Krishna, tomorrow suddenly everything may be taken away. Right? You have seen sometimes people, some thievery happens or some government raid happens and suddenly, their wealth goes. This Ajit Pawar, who was Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, so he was having 5,000 acre land. Can you imagine 5,000 acre land? He was owner of it. He would see the land using his helicopter. He was going by a private plane, but then accident happened and died. Within a moment, he is cut off from everything. So in this life, we have to know that if we become proud by this possessing all this, then we lose opportunity to create a fertile heart to cultivate our devotion to the Lord. And we know that these things actually does not belong to us. If tomorrow Krishna wants, we may not be able to speak. You may be a very good singer, but then some problem may happen in your throat and then the voice may not come out. So we have to meditate on these aspects, that how they are connection to Krishna. And it is Krishna who is blessing me for his service. And whenever Krishna wants, he can take these things away. So when we have this genuine humility like this, when we have the genuine sincerity, then actually no matter how we are, we will surely be blessed by the Lord. We will surely receive mercy of the Lord. And that is our goal. That is our hope. So I think we'll end here. And Lakshman Prabhu will continue from the next slide next time. Okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hare Krishna.